YouTube, what's the deal? It's your girl Jahira, and I am back. Hey y'all. Um, it's really late, but some of my best work has come from when it's been really late. But I'm so supposed to be in bed right now. Um, but I didn't want another day to go by without me talking to y'all about what's going on with me or what's been going on with me. I know that I have been away for a couple of weeks, and that's kind of going to be a separate video. Well, not exactly a separate video in and of itself. Suffice it to say, damn. Okay, so the job interview that I had. Okay, well, I didn't end up having it, and there's a reason why. What I didn't tell y'all in the last video, because I wanted to wait until, I knew sort of more definitively what was going to happen, was that the job interview that I had was in New York. And I unfortunately didn't get to go to said job interview because of Hurricane Sandy. I got stranded in New York. There was nothing. That hurricane hit, y'all, and I'm telling you, there was nothing coming in, going out, none of that. It was a really precarious situation. I was in Manhattan at the time, upper Manhattan, the Upper East Side, actually, at a hotel. And so I didn't have to deal with the blackouts that lower Manhattan got and stuff like that. But it was still pretty bad. And then the hotel that I was staying in, I was going to extend my stay because obviously I couldn't get back to Kentucky. And the hotel got sold out. And I, for a good 45 minutes, had absolutely no idea what I was going to do. And fortunately, one of my house brothers, shouts to Anthony, because I love you deeply, um, who lives in Harlem, took me in, and I ended up staying about 4 or 5 days there. He literally saved me from a really frightening situation. So, all in all, I'm fine. And the job interview will happen when I go back. We decided to reschedule. But that was kind of the news, y'all, or that is kind of the news, that I intend to leave Kentucky. This hasn't been an easy decision for me to make, and it was kind of a long time coming. I felt myself really for the past couple of months really starting to stagnate and feeling very depressed. I mean, really, truly depressed. And sometimes blessings come from very unlikely places. At least I found that to be true for my life. And I have a friend who was really more of an acquaintance until recently. We had known each other for years, and um, his lover, his life partner, is a dear friend of mine and someone whom I admire. I mean, unbelievably. But we kind of knew each other through him, and sort of through the ballroom scene. But we didn't really. We were in similar circles, but we never really connected, per se, on a personal level. We were always friendly, but we just never really had that kind of one-on-one interaction. I found myself talking to this individual one night, and we were sort of talking about living in your purpose. And he said some things that really, without trying to sound dramatic, it seems as though he kind of woke me up from a coma, for lack of a better way to put it. Um, and I realized that I have, in fact, been running from my purpose, which kind of sucks because the whole basis of this channel is pretty much wrapped in living in your truth and being the greatest expression of who you are on a constant basis. And I haven't been. This move to Kentucky, if I'm being completely honest, came out of a sense of desperation. You guys know that I was struggling to find an apartment in Boston, and I really wasn't happy in Boston, and so I had come out here and visited Nina and then gotten a sense for the area and how unbelievably cheap the rent was, and I needed a place to live. And I would like to say that my loftier ambition was to see if I could make it sort of on my own, without the support system that I had leaned on for so long. But the reality is the rent was cheap. And the ideology of starting over in a new area ended up being vastly different than the reality of living in a place where you don't really have, you know, a multitude of friends or any family to rely upon. This has been a lonely year. That's hard to admit. But it has. It has been a lonely year. It's been a lonely year. And I know that if I was capable of driving or had a car, you know what I mean, and wasn't reliant upon taxis or public transportation to get around in a very rural area like this, I probably would be somewhat more ensconced in the city, and my quality of life here would improve. But you know it's so important to be realistic about your limitations and recognize sort of the boundaries of your own existence in terms of what you can handle and what you can't. And the vast reality of the situation is, honey, I am not a country person. I'm just not. And this is a lesson that I never would have learned had I not come out here. Y'all know I work very, very hard at trying to be as transparent with y'all as possible because I fervently believe, and you all have shown me, that there are so many of you who can relate on some level to the things that I discuss. That something in my delivery touches off something in you, and that's how we've gotten this great dialogue to form together. And I am a person, I'm never going to be the kind of person who, wants starry nights and wide open spaces and trees and farm animals, and that's just not my reality. My vision of paradise is being lost in a sea of people on rush hour foot traffic and running for the subway and hailing cabs, and that is just who I am, at least one component of who I am. And so denying that very real aspect of my being for the sake of cheaper rent, I think I'm almost positive that it was Thomas Edison who said, and I promise you, please write this down somewhere because it vastly changed my perspective, and it is one of those quotes that I have held dear to my heart for years, freaking years. He said, "I have not failed 10,000 times. I have successfully found 10,000 ways which will not work." Just let that sink in for a minute. This lifestyle does not work for me. I know there are so many people who, have made this kind of existence, you know, work for them. And it's just not my reality. My passion is in advising and uplifting and empowering youth, young people, working diligently to ensure that they can avoid the mistakes that I've made, using my own experience as an example for how not to do things in a lot of cases. That is not something that I feel that I can accomplish here in a state where over 60% of the people who reside here voted for Mitt Romney. I'm sorry. That's the way that I feel. And I know to be true for myself that city life feeds my spirit in a way and propels my motivation in a way that a city like this simply can't. So, with these remaining years that I have on earth, however long it may be, or short it may be, I want to live in purpose. I can't convince any of y'all to walk in your truth if I'm not walking in mine. So, by hook or by crook, I am going to fling myself into the fire that is New York City, and I'm going to make it. Come hell or high water, I am going to make it, and I've never been more ready for anything. It won't be easy. It will be challenging. You may not hear from me or see me as often as I would like or you would like because I'm in the process of securing an apartment. I'm in the process of securing a job, But coming back to New York, because y'all know I lived there before, but coming back to New York as an actualized adult with major adult responsibilities and an astronomical cost of living is not going to come easy, but I have never felt more right about something than I do about this, because I have to believe that over this mountain lies something infinitely greater than what I am experiencing right now. So that's what's going on with me, y'all. And I would love and welcome your prayers and words of encouragement because I really need them. But I am happy and on the verge of being ecstatic. Y'all cross your fingers, please, if nothing else. And know that I love you dearly, and I will talk to y'all very soon. Thank you for absolutely everything. One love.